Breaking news with regards to the German bakery blast case in Pune. Remember, the verdict was to be out today, and it appears that the court has held Baig guilty in the German bakery blast case. That's the latest bit of news that's coming in. Remember, Baig has been found guilty in this case. We'll be getting more details of what the judgment reads like. However, there are others in the case, namely Iqbal Bhatkal, Riyaz Bhatkal, as well as others who are still on the run, have not been found. The charge sheet that was filed also had Zabiuddin Ansari's name, but Ansari was not arrested in that case. He was later on arrested in the 26/11 Mumbai attack case. At the present moment, we do know that key accused in the blast case has been found guilty. His name is Inayat Baigs. Inayat Baigs is the only accused really who was in the custody of the authorities. The Pune court has pronounced its verdict in the German bakery blast case of Pune in 2010. 17 people, remember, had died in that blast and 57 other people were injured. It was carried out at the behest of Indian Mujahideen. That was the initial information and basis that the authorities had continued their investigations. Now, today was a key day because the verdict had to be pronounced in the Pune German bakery blast case. Now, Vidya is joining us with more details. Vidya, can you tell us what exactly the verdict is like?
Well, at the moment, he has just been found guilty. The argument for quantum of sentence after conviction will as yet have to happen, and only then after the defense and the prosecution. The arguments are obviously the prosecution will ask for the most stringent of punishment for Baigs. But since the fact that yes, he's been found guilty, now the quantum of sentence is something that's a procedure that's still left. Probably in a day or two, that will be done as well.
With Vidya, he's been held guilty on what charges? Take us through the charges that were on him.
Well, he had been charged in the IPC sections of 302, 307, murder, attempt to murder. Then obviously under UAPA, he had been, there were sections of also Explosive Substance Act 345. All these had been leveled against him. Exactly as to under which sections he has been found guilty is not really clear, but yes, in the entire case, the case that the prosecution had made out against him, the court has accepted that yes, he has been found guilty. He was the one who took part in this entire explosion that happened at German bakery.
All right, Vidya, stay on with us. Let's quickly take our viewers through what we know at this point in time. The Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad had arrested Mirza Himayat Inayat Baigs. In this case, he's been held guilty. Let's go across to our Mumbai Bureau Chief Sahil Joshi, who has more details. Sahil, the charges against him were quite grave. He's been held guilty today. When are we likely to hear the quantum of punishment?
See, right now they are going one by one. First of all, only one suspect which was arrested, Mirza Himayat Inayat Baigs from Beed, have been found guilty for his links into the blast. According to the ATS, actually, Baigs along with 6 more terror operatives of LET and Indian Mujahideen were involved in the blast, and they also suspected that Zabiuddin Ansari, Abu Zundal, who has recently been deported from Saudi, and his investigators are probing him in 26/11 terror links. The Indian Mujahideen suspects, the usual suspects of Indian Mujahideen like Riyaz Bhatkal, Iqbal Bhatkal, both, and Yasin Bhatkal, Fayaz Kagsi of LET are also shown absconding in the case. This blast actually happened on 13th of February and killed 7. So it is one of the big case which ATS can claim that they have solved. Would only be able to arrest only one person in this particular case, and that is the reason why the whole investigation was concentrated on Himayat Baigs and how they will probe this matter.
Right.
Actually, yeah, Maha.
Sahil, the defense's argument was that Baigs was not in Pune on the day of the blast, that he was in Aurangabad. Clearly, the court has not gone by that bit of information that the defense was trying to push.
Actually, the whole case was actually going to the dead end, because most of the suspects in this particular case, right from the Bhatkal brothers to Zabiuddin Ansari, Mohsin Chaudhary, are all absconding. They were absconding at that particular time. When Zabiuddin Ansari was deported to India, then the case came into the light again. Finally, in September 2010, when ATS arrested their first suspect, Mirza Himayat Baigs, after that the case, they thought they will be able to arrest more people, but despite their great efforts, they could not get their hands on the other suspects. As I had mentioned, total 7 suspects were there in this particular case, and they could not arrest any of them. So they were also suspecting that his aide, Sheikh Lal Baba Muhammad Hussain alias Bilal, also believed to be in this, but he is the only surviving suspect in their custody. And finally, the court has approved ATS investigation and said that Mirza Himayat Baigs is guilty in this particular blast. Now everyone is awaiting what sentence is awarded to Mirza Himayat Baigs, and which will come to know soon.
But there's only one person who was arrested and has been held guilty in this case. However, there are 5 other people who are still at large. Gaurav Sawant, our editor, is joining us with more details. Gaurav, what about those people who conspired?
In fact, Maha, that's the bigger story, and that is where India's, diplomatic and political clout, unfortunately, doesn't appear to have worked, because the main perpetrators, the Pune German bakery blast, or the Iqbal brothers, Yasin Bhatkal, the Bhatkal brothers are all in Pakistan. This conspiracy was hatched in Pakistan. It was executed in Pune. But unfortunately, India has completely failed to get the perpetrators behind bars or push Pakistan into taking action against them. So the verdict, when it comes, would be very interesting, whether India can use that verdict as a leverage point to get Pakistan to act against the perpetrators in Pakistan. It's easier said than done. But it just goes on to indicate that post-26/11, Pakistan continues to target India and continues to target India through terror even today.
All right, Gaurav, let me quickly take our viewers through the information that we have regarding the charges against Baigs. According to the prosecution theory, the plot to attack German bakery was hatched by Baigs, Zabiuddin Ansari, Fayyaz Kaghzi in March of 2008, when Baigs had visited Colombo. After his return, Baigs started a cyber cafe in Udgir and later finalized the plan to attack the eatery in the last week of January 2010. Yasin Bhatkal had assembled the bombs and Baigs accompanied him to Pune, where Bhatkal planted the bombs at the German bakery. However, the defense had been carrying on with its argument, saying that Baigs was not even present in Pune on the day of the blast, that he was in Aurangabad attending a wedding, that his call records show the same, and there was a witness produced as well who had met him. In fact, what we also know is that Baigs was arrested. He's a resident of Beed. He was 29 when he was arrested from a bus stop in Pune. He was the only person arrested in that case. The others are still at large. Big day there in the German bakery blast case of Pune in 2010 that disturbed the peace, shattered the peace of Pune, one of the biggest terror strikes on that Pune, a very peaceful city, has seen. Let me go to Sahil Joshi, our Mumbai bureau chief, who's getting us more details. Sahil, the charges against Baigs. Sahil, are you there with us?
Yeah, I'm there.
Sahil, take us through the charges against Baigs.
See, actually, as we were mentioning, that Baigs was the only person arrested. Basically, the charges were against him were hacking the conspiracy, that is 120B, arranging the various things for this particular blast, and 70 people were killed. So obviously, various articles of section which involves murder and other charges were also involved in it. But the main charge Baigs was to hack the conspiracy with Zabiuddin Ansari when he went to Colombo. He was also involved in getting funds for to hack this conspiracy and getting the ground support. As he was the man on the ground at that particular time, we know that Bhatkal brothers were suspected to be in Pakistan. Zabiuddin Ansari, the name was in Saudi Saudi, and he was shuffling between Pakistan and Saudi. So most of the conspirators fought in India, but Baig was here in India and who was actually the conspiracy. So the main suspect in this particular case was Himayat Baig, and that is the reason why he was arrested. And he was the only person, as ATS was claiming, that they could finally to lay their hands on. And obviously the others are still on.
All right, we also have learnt now that the quantum of punishment will be announced on the 18th of April. That's the bit of news that's coming in at the moment. Sahil, take us through the quantum of punishment that is likely in cases like this.
We have seen in 93 blasts, the conspirators, the highest charge against any of such blasts, that is 120B, is awarded with the death penalty. Obviously, the Makoka was charged in this particular case. So the highest sentence he could get is death punishment, because he was found to be guilty in even the conspiracy particular blast. So his role in this particular blast was one of the important roles. So see that what actually the court takes into, because now his lawyer and the prosecution will on what kind of punishment, what the quantum of punishment should be. After that argument on 18th, the court will decide what sentence should be awarded to Baig. So, but the maximum punishment in this particular case is death punishment. So we'll have to wait to see what actually the court pronounced on this.
Sahil, Devesh is also joining us with more details. Devesh Nair was following all the proceedings in the Sessions Court in Pune. Devesh, what did the court have to say?
Well, it was very clear that the judge would be pronouncing his verdict today, and yes, most of the dictation was completed in the last date, and today it was just the fact that he has to tell Himayat Baig about what kind of on what charges he was held guilty. What the judge have told him that on the maximum counts, like waging war against the country, as well as for the German bakery blast, he was clearly found guilty. The judge said that there was enough evidence that was put in front of the court, and whatever charges that has been put in the charge sheet proves the fact that he was there. He was involved into this blast. However, the judge has reserved the quantum of punishment for 18. On 18, it would be clear that how many years and what kind of a punishment would Himayat Baig get. Anna.
Take us point by point, Devesh, through the charges on Himayat Baig.
Well, there were charges that was put under Himayat Baig, where waging war against the country. There was the charges of various sections of UPA Act. There was a charge of explosive act which was put under him, and all these charges were quite serious in nature. And the court found that for all these charges, he was found guilty, and he had an active role in ensuring that the German bakery blast was successful. Mana.
Devesh, what did the prosecution have to say after the pronouncement of this verdict, having held Baig guilty?
Well, the prosecution was right confident from the beginning, saying that they have even enough evidence that they have put in front of the court, as they have examined 102 witnesses. They have said that there was enough material which was available in front of the court which would prove Himayat Baig guilty, and the prosecution today is quite happy and satisfied with the kind of judgment that has come in this case.
And the defence's argument that Himayat Baig was not in Pune at all on the day of the blast, completely junked by the court there?
Well, yes, the court didn't take that thing into account. Defense has been relying heavily on the point that Himayat Baig was not here and he was in Aurangabad, and they have basically put forward 2 or 3 witnesses which claim that he was not in Aurangabad. But the point here is that the prosecution has put forward the fact that the mobile tower location and everything was put in front of the court, saying that it proved very categorically the fact that Himayat Baig was in Pune when the German bakery blast happened. He was one of the main perpetrators in the case.
The quantum of punishment is going to be pronounced on the 18th of April. What's the prosecution expecting on that day, the quantum?
Well, the prosecution was maximum punishment for Himayat Baig. That's what we have been told inside the court by the prosecution. But they just want to wait and see what kind of a quantum of punishment that the judge will give. And they're just waiting and watching. They're going to wait and watch till 18 that exactly how many years of imprisonment and what kind of punishment would give to Himayat Baig.
Devesh, this case is far from really being solved, or the wounds of the families of those who died really being healed, because there are 5 people who are still at large. He was the only person arrested in the case.
Well, yes, in the entire case, there were another 5 more people who were co-conspirator in the case, but the ATS could manage to arrest only one person, that is Himayat Baig, and today he has been he has been held guilty for whatever act that he has done. At this point of time, the people who have suffered because of Jammu Bikri blast might be a bit happy, but completely their wounds would have not been filled, because rest all other perpetrators who have played important role, like Yasin Bhatkar, who was there as one of the planters, is still at large, and all these people have not yet been arrested, and ATS is still at lookout for them.
All right, Devesh, stay with us. We also have with us senior criminal lawyer Mirza Memon connecting on the phone line. Sir, in a case like this, with charges as grave as waging war against the country, what's the kind of punishment that is meted out?
See, this is definitely one of the serious most offense, and it would not be difficult for the prosecution once the prosecution has succeeded in securing conviction. When the question of one sentence would come in matters like this, the possible conviction is only a possible sentence is only either death or life imprisonment. And looking at the gravity of the offense and the result that, well, so many deaths have occurred, and it also involves waging war, provision of law, then I think this would easily fall within the category of rarest of rare cases, and the highest possible punishment would be sought, and court could be persuaded for that. But we shall have to wait till 18th when the court finally decides as to what would be the sentence to be awarded to the convict.
Mr. Memon, do you feel that the prosecution was in this case able to make a watertight case against Baig, because the court did not even look at the defense's argument that this person Baig was not present in Pune on the day of the blast and was in Aurangabad attending a wedding?
Now see, it is not proper for us to discuss the merits of the case, because the merits of the case must have been taken care of by the trial court, the prosecution and the defense. Now, it will be the right of the accused, as it always happens, to seek, some appeal, if wherever possible, to the higher courts, and the merits of the case would be examined by the authorities concerned. It is not, desirable that we would comment whether the learned trial judge is right or wrong in allowing or disallowing a certain thing to the accused person or to the
Mr. Memon, do you think that there is scope for an appeal in this case? When you say that
the court did not even get that, means it is not proper for us to pass such comments that the court did not look at it. The court must have dealt with it on its merits that it deserves.
Mr. Memon, what I want to ask is that, is there enough merit in this case still for an appeal for Baig, or has the prosecution been able to make a watertight case?
No, see, it is not possible for us to comment from outside this unless we read the evidence and unless we read the judgment. It would not be proper for me to comment either way, for or against. But remember, if the conviction tomorrow results into death penalty, then by way of procedure, there is a provision that the sentence of death will have to be confirmed by two learned judges of the High Court, which is a practice. So therefore, there would be a scrutiny on its own without either party going in appeal, because that's the basic procedural provision in criminal law, that this matter would land before two learned judges of the High Court who will consider whether the sentence is rightly awarded. That is possible only if death sentence is awarded. Otherwise, if it is only life sentence, then unless appeal is moved by the other side, the appellate court does not come on the scene.